So under new management, and hopefully a start of something very different from WWE, the SummerSlam is going to be interesting. So let's talk about it.
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass.
Yes! You just made the list!
Brock Lesnar.
And hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Stuart Irvine and welcome to my solo review of SummerSlam 2022. Yes, sorry about being a bit late. It's been a tough couple of days, so finding time to do this has been hard. But yeah, so I'm back. Gonna do another solo SummerSlam. Very different one, this one, because obviously this is kind of the start of a new era for WWE. Because obviously we know, for obviously basically a week before this pay-per-view, obviously last week, Vince McMahon announced his retirement from all things WWE. So that means he's out of creative. And guess who took over? Paul Levesque, aka Triple H. And this is his first, I think on SmackDown, he had his first taste of creative. But this is his first pay-per-view. And so there's a lot of excitement going in, to be fair. I was intrigued because obviously a lot of people say change won't happen immediate. But with this pay-per-view, it was very immediate. There was big changes. Like, there were some things this was already booked before. But, yeah, there was differences. Trust me, there was differences in this pay-per-view. But yeah, so obviously before we dive straight in to talking about SummerSlam, if you like what we see and you like the reviews that I give and obviously the proofs from me and Josh, please like and subscribe and please leave a comment. Love to hear your thoughts on this review and SummerSlam. I know it's a couple of days now, so it's kind of in the past now, but it's still a pay-per-view. Obviously, we'll just do SmackDown on Friday, so it'll be interesting to see what you guys thought of it as well. But yeah, so I can't wait till we talk about it. There's a lot of good stuff in this pay-per-view. A lot of good stuff. I don't think a lot of it. It was very solid, very good pay-per-view. I mean, I'm probably downplaying it, but yeah, it's good stuff. And I don't really want to talk about more, but let's talk about. I'm going to go for each match one by one. We're going to talk about why I like each one. And yeah, let's go into it. So yeah, so the first match I'm talking about is the WWE Raw Women's Championship match and the rematch from last year's SummerSlam. And it was a little bit longer. Is Bianca Belair defending her title against Becky Lynch. So yes, let's go and talk about that match. So yes, we kick off SummerSlam with, as I said, the Raw Women's Championship match, and a rematch from last year's one. It's Bianca Belair defending her title against Becky Lynch. And yeah, I mean, a good story here. Obviously, I think the rumours were that obviously we got, I don't know if this was the plan in general, but obviously we had Carmella on last pay-per-view, obviously because Rhea Ripley was injured, but I don't know if this was the plan in general. I don't know. But yes, it's a rematch. It's fitting because obviously a year prior to this pay-per-view, obviously the return of Becky Lynch and obviously the heel turn that, yeah, it was a bad idea. It's kind of entertainment, but it's kind of treading water, and we all know that Becky Lynch is a face. But yeah, I mean, obviously this we had that fantastic match at WrestleMania. So this is kind of the trifecta, the final, like a trilogy of matches between these very, very good female wrestlers, and obviously once again showed how good they really are. Pretty much. So this, yes, it was a perfect attempt as an opener, purely for the fact it was just you got two wrestlers that know each other very well. You know they're going to deliver. And we all know at the start of pay-per-view, you've got to set the tempo, set the tone of a show. And this match definitely did it. The question is it better WrestleMania? I don't know. They're both very close to being very good opener. I mean, I just love this match. It's like Bianca Belair's one of these weird wrestlers. It's like, what's what I'm looking for? Yeah, it's like maybe the character stuff's not there yet. But just when you think, well, Bianca Belair's not booking right, you put her against someone like Bianca Belair, or not Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch, I mean, and she just shows how good she is in the ring. She's so good, and again, she proved that. I think similar to WrestleMania, she always lives up on the big occasions, and that's what you want from your champion. And from it just shows how good she really is as a professional wrestler. But yeah, I mean, don't want to say this, but I mean, it started off good. You obviously had Becky Lynch working on the arm. That was really awesome. Obviously, it makes sense. Obviously, works the arm. She can't hit the kiss of death. Very good there. Again, we had some cool stuff where Bianca Belair was hitting like hit a kiss of death slam onto the top of the barricade. But we had a situation where she tried to hit it, countered it, and then we had a situation where she hit a leg drop off the back the barricade. It was really cool. It's like hit kiss death. Becky Lynch countered it, and then we had a nice thing when she hit that leg drop from the barricade. Very unique. I don't see it as much. Very cool stuff there. One thing I love about this match is obviously there's counters after counters. Love that stuff. Shows that they know each other very, very well. Awesome stuff there. Obviously, we had a cool thing with a situation where Becky Lynch trying to go for, I think, a leg drop from the 10th from the top again, and then obviously Bianca Belair showing her strength was able to catch her and hit a power bomb. Love that kind of stuff. We had again stuff with backflips. She had Bianca showing her strength. We had Becky Lynch hitting a thing called the Diamond Dust. That again, no one would have known if Corey Graves didn't actually say what it's called. It's basically some really cool net breaker. I was like, wow, just looks like a cool net breaker. But apparently it's got a move. Maybe it's an old finisher by Becky Lynch. That going deep to try and see if you can beat Bianca Belair for the win. But yeah, we had that kind of stuff. We had like counters after counters. We had a thing with Bianca Belair. What was it? Went for the. She tried it. Was it? He had Lynch go for her shoulder and Becky hit a kiss of death on the floor, but the ref countered them out. And back into the right for a 10. But he just got in before a 10 count. But basically, she hits a kiss of death onto the end on the outside. Gets in. Becky just gets in, but the finish. Oh, what a good finish this was. But yeah, so basically how this match finished is basically Bianca Belair wanted to hit the kiss of death. Lynch launched her feet and Becky came back with a spine buster, a very good spine buster Bianca Belair did. Very good there. Then Bianca went to the top. Lynch stopped her, and then what was it? But I like the idea. It always seems to be a thing with Bianca Belair matches. So they always use her hair as a way to get it down and find new creative ways to, use her hair as like it's an advantage, because when you whip it on your skin, it's gonna hurt, like literally hurt. But it's also a thing you can use against her that I like. But the best thing is he had that finish at the end where she stopped her. She basically pulled her off the top rope with her hair, and then obviously she basically pulled it into the rock bottom. It's called the Manhouse Slam, but it's the rock bottom. It's rock bottom. Hit that for a 1-2. No, thought that was the end of the match. Everyone was shocked. It was a great near fall. Then obviously, then we have a situation where you got, they had a middle rope and they hit a middle rope, Spanish fly slam. Top rope I get, but the second rope, that could go very wrong. But yeah, so we had that cool stuff, and then she hit that, and then Bianca Belair was able to get back up, hits the kiss of death, gets to 1-2-3, and it's still your WWE Raw Women's Champion. And yeah, it was a great match. 15 minutes. It just seems 15 minutes. Give them what they want. Just let them go. And it delivered. It was great. I love it. I love matches like the funny thing is WWE, it's never really been about the match quality most of the time. It's just about the stories. But this proves that WWE are one of the best when they put on to great matches. And this was great. Becky shows how great she is. Bianca Belair shows how great she is. It's just, I love it. And but yeah, I mean, obviously this usual thing where this feels like this ending to the match, after the match stuff, makes me realise that yes, Triple H is in charge, not Vince. Because after the post match, we had obviously Bianca Belair celebrating. Then we've got a situation of Bianca Belair Becky Lynch extending the hand. We all know that last time she did that a year ago, she shook her hand, and obviously that kind of situation led to Becky Lynch taking the title from her. So there was symbolism to it. I love symbolism in wrestling. But she did shake her hand, and the fan looked like they're kind of like resisting, because obviously she's smart and she's not stupid. She's not stupid. She's not one of these babyface like, oh, no, she's false for it. She's like, yeah, but last time you did that, you kind of attacked me, so she can see the hesitation. But then we obviously she shook her hand and then hugged, and then we have a nice moment. Becky Lynch sits out privately, probably some nice words, because obviously she really respects her. And yeah, obviously we had that nice moment. That's how it normally would end. But it's not what happened. So obviously after that, we had Bayley coming down the ring. We haven't heard Bayley for nearly a year. Yeah, it's been a while, basically. So then Bayley comes down, and a very, very long ramp. If it's the old school, like it's basically really long. Like they haven't done this in Royal Rumble a couple of years ago. Similar to that. I don't know, it might be the same place. I don't know. But yeah, she had that walking down the ring, and you're like, cool. So it's going to be, but Bayley's back. That's cool. So it's going to confront, but she was not alone in that. And then we had a surprise. Dakota Kai has returned from WWE. And we're like, okay, I like this. We like this. Dakota Kai coming down, obviously joining Bayley. Obviously, we know that Dakota Kai was released a while ago. So this is obviously Triple H, bringing out the orange branch to try and bring her back. And see, obviously, Triple H, the NXT Women's Division was the best women's division in the world. So, no surprise that Triple H now in charge. People like Dakota Kai and any other would want to come back saying, well, they trust that he's going to make the women's division one of the best again. That would be great. So if you had that, you thought, okay, two on one, that's cool. What I love about this is Bianca's like reactions, like, okay, cool. Bit shot by Dakota, that's fine. And then all of a sudden, Io Shirai's music hit, and then you go, okay, so there's 3 of them. So Bianca Belair's like, okay, where's this going? So they're walking down the ring, 3 of them, trio walking down, talking trash to Bianca. And then you've got Bayley kind of going in, but Bianca's face, saying, I'm not going to come here on my own, am I? That kind of stuff. And then just when you think it's going to be a simple 3-on-1 beatdown on the champ, Becky Lynch comes to the ring, standing side by side. That's what I'm looking for with Bianca Belair. Obviously now with the respect there, we have a face turn. Becky Lynch is now a face. Finally, it's about damn time you did it. It's freaking about damn time. So obviously, sitting there saying, bring it on. And obviously Bayley was like, no, we don't fight in your terms, you fight on ours. And they walk out the ring. And yeah, sets up, and that's the end of the kind of segment. But yeah, sets up some really cool stuff. The idea, obviously on Raw, obviously this is recorded after Raw. We had the situation, I think it was Io Sky. They've changed their name, but again, it's not a drastic change, just a little bit of a tweak. It's kind of again Triple H thing. That's how they used to like actually cooler names. I like it, but yeah, it comes down like we had that match. I think against Bianca Belair, at Raw, very cool stuff. I don't know what they're called yet, but I think. I'm just intrigued. This seems like the women's division has just become really, really interesting all of a sudden, just by new faces and a little bit of injection, and it makes it a lot more interesting. Obviously, note that Becky dislocated her arm in this match, so now she'll be out for probably like a couple of months. So, but normally that'd be a problem. But when you've got Io Shirai great in the ring, Dakota Kai great in the ring, there's fresh matchups and fresh stuff happening on Raw. So I like it. I like it indeed. So I'm intrigued to see what they do more of it. Obviously next week on Raw. See where it's going to go. Is it going to be like the way it seems like they're going to do it? From what I've seen, is they're going to do a thing where it's like Bianca. It's going to be Bianca, Asuka now, and Alexa Bliss going against this new group because obviously Becky's out. So that sets up just more questions and more awesomeness. And just going to use the women that we all know can go and put them in an interesting program. That's all you need to do in wrestling, especially WWE. So it's just all of a sudden, just a little bit of a tweak, and all of a sudden the women's division in Raw has become 10 times more interesting. So you gotta love it. That's what I mean with Triple H. Little tweaks here and there, made that match interesting. So I'm intrigued to see where Triple H has planned for this feud, because I'm intrigued. You intrigued me. It's only our first match, so what a more surprise we're gonna have. So obviously after this we had the match between The Miz against newly signed Logan Paul. And this is his first singles match since signing, and literally is his first single match WWE. So it should be interesting. So yeah, let's go and talk about that one. So let's talk about the match between The Miz and Logan Paul. Again, this is kind of set up at WrestleMania, obviously after the victory of them two as a team against the Mysterios at WrestleMania. Obviously, The Miz turned on Logan Paul, probably because he's taken away his spotlight. Usual Miz kind of stuff. But yeah, sets up, obviously we did notice that obviously Logan Paul's now signed to a full-time deal. So that means that, yeah, he's going to be around for a while. I don't like the guy, personally, and I don't like his YouTube stuff. But if there's one thing this match proves, and obviously in that tag team match at WrestleMania, is that the guy can go. The guy's good. It's his first 2 matches, and he looks really good. There are clunkiness, but some of the kind of stuff he's doing as technically a celebrity is crazy. Is absolutely crazy. And this match just showcases how good he could be, and obviously shows how good why everyone trusts The Miz, because he can always get a good match out of someone. His style might not be like flashy, but good God, the guy, put him against someone you want to get over, or someone you want to look good at least. He can do that, and that's why The Miz is so good. Or I don't want to use that's why he is awesome. But yeah, as I said, this match is a lot of stuff. You had a thing early on. We had the cool thing with you had a thing where he kicked, Miz went for the kick. Logan Paul kind of defended himself, and then he kind of just kicked him a little soft kick. Cassidy would be proud, and then obviously later on we had Logan Paul doing that as well. So had that kind of stuff. So a little bit of that. You had basically it was just to show how good Logan Paul is. You had the moonsault from the outside by Logan Paul on the apron, off the apron, really looked cool, really fluent. You always worry about that kind of stuff, because normally when it's celebrities, they normally just do the crossbody, but a moonsault, that's impressive. You had a really cool thing later on with that, was it counter national double knee, basically a backstabber in the corner on Logan Paul. It looked really cool as well. You had a blockbuster by Logan Paul's stuff. You had a standing moonsault by Logan Paul that looked really cool. We obviously had a situation of there was talk on the commentary team that again Mark Cole was actually felt really freed in this show. He felt really freed, but yeah, he sounded really cool in that. But yeah, so the question is because Tommaso Ciampa is now aligned with The Miz apparently. That normally I would be against, but it's weird how wrestling works. Sometimes it might work. But Tommaso Ciampa is involved in something interesting instead of just being Tommaso Ciampa. It looks like they know what to do now. Triple H in charge. I mean, sky's the limit. I mean, we all know what he's facing Bobby Lashley next week for the US title, so that's going to be fun. I look forward to that. But yes, obviously we got the obviously after that we got Logan Paul was on the outside, was on the ropes. Ciampa kind of tried to attack him. The ref kind of caught him doing it. He done it once and then he done tried it again. He got caught, and then obviously we have to get out of here. You're ejected. But Ciampa was like, nope, not happening. And I love the idea that he's sitting there going, nope, you're not getting rid of me. And then AJ Styles music. I think AJ Styles music hits. Everyone's like, where's AJ? Turns around. He goes, he's run for the crown, hit the phenomenal forearm. Takes out Tommaso and chases him out of the arena. And we had that cool thing, and then obviously while The Miz was distracted by that, we had, Logan Paul hit a phenomenal forearm of himself or two, and there was talk about, now we know who trained him, and it's like, yeah, AJ Styles trained him. That explains why his moveset is really freaking cool. I don't know if that's true, but it's one of those things where, it wouldn't surprise me, because if you're going to learn from if you want to be the best, you've got to learn from the best, and AJ is the best professional wrestler on this planet. He's one of the best. No define. He is. But yeah, so we got that for the two. You got The Miz went to the floor. Paul cleared off the commentary desk and put Miz on the table. And the spot that everyone talks about, and the spot everyone that's kind of going to remember this match for, is obviously that amazing frog splash on the outside by Logan Paul onto The Miz. That looks spectacular. Normally when you hit that, you always find that clinks to it looks bad, but it looked really good. It was very fluent, very good. So we hit that, hit him on the table, put him back in the ring. Then Logan Paul went for the pin, and then Maurice was trying to distract, but Paul just got up, distracted the ref, but Paul got up, and so the Miz tried to attack him with a chair, but I think it's he tries to go for a kick, move out of the way, just about hit, almost hit. I think he's Maurice. I might be thinking of the one thing, but yeah, hit that. Tried to do that, missed. Then Paul moved out of the way, and then Logan Paul hit the skull crushing finale on The Miz, his own move, to get the 1-2-3 for a 14-minute match. Yeah, love it. It's not exactly it's just fun. It was just a fun match. It done exactly the whole point of it is to put Logan Paul over. People were really cheering for Logan Paul because he's spectacularly doing really well in the ring. Normally you find the clinks, but there are snippets of okay, you need to work on that. But yeah, he looks fluent. He looks good. I'm intrigued to see what he does when he's not got something like The Miz or involving people that are veterans. When he's maybe got a carry match on his own, because he is not just a part-time, he's signed full-time. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with him. But that's the funny thing about wrestling. You can hate the guy, but you can love the character. It's weird. It's weird how wrestling works, but it's how it is. But yeah, very good match. I think it was nice to calm down from obviously the big opening contest. Becky match and Bianca Belair was just amazing. So this match was solid and a very good match, and you need that to calm people down. Had good moments. Logan Paul looked great, and I don't know more to say to it. I always say is, yeah. I mean, I don't think this is over. I don't know. I think the Miz is kind of getting more focused on Tommaso Ciampa at the moment, because obviously Tommaso Ciampa is kind of his focus at the moment. But I think the way they're going around it is, wouldn't surprise me if AJ and Logan Paul teaming up at the next pay-per-view, going against Tommaso Ciampa and the Miz, and that'd be great. I just love the idea that AJ and Tommaso Ciampa having a feud. Like, that's so NXT. It's so cool. I like it. And from what I've seen from Tommaso Ciampa, they've really let the reins go. I mean, the Tommaso Ciampa that we loved in NXT. So if we've got anything that, I mean, we're off to the races, right? We're off to the races. So it's great. So yeah, good match here. Very solid here. Now we've got to talk about a match that you got 2 15-minute matches, and our next one is, well, short, but it's a match that was basically a rematch from Money in the Bank. So it's obviously the US title was online, with the champion Bobby Lashley going against Mr. Money in the Bank, Austin Theory. And yeah, that's it had its moments, but let's talk about it. Let's talk about that match. So yes, the next match we're going to talk about is obviously the WWE United States Championship match between Bobby Lashley and Austin Theory. Yes, obviously it's a rematch. Obviously Theory wants a rematch for his title. He's kind of teasing that he is going to cash in on the win of the Last Man Standing match at the end of the night. But he's going to win the US title back, and he's going to have all the gold. And the only times that ever works out is he actually does what he says, or he doesn't win any. And in this situation, he does not win squat. We all know that Bobby Lashley was not going to lose this match. Bobby Lashley as US champion is probably one of the smarter decisions they've made. And the idea that Bobby Lashley's, as someone said, I think it's been like the idea that obviously if the world champion's not going to be on the show every week, because obviously he's not going to be booked on every Raw and every SmackDown, you got to elevate the US title. And if you put on someone, a former WWE champion, and someone who's really over and really good in the ring as Bobby Lashley, it's going to work. So I like it. So, but what shocked me about this match, I said before, it's only 5 minutes. I think what I love about this show a lot is they paced it so well. This is basically a 3.5 hour show, but the matches never felt, they were the right length. No match felt over the top. No match felt like they timed it well. They understood the timing of it, and I love that. Some matches you think, okay, that should end now. This wasn't. Like this match, perfect example. It's 5 minutes, but it was perfect because this match didn't need to be a 10-minute match. Because basically, it's not going to be amazing. The whole concept of it is basically Bobby Lashley dominating and winning, and he did. That's exactly what happened in this match. You had Theory trying to use it on their tactics. You had him using the briefcase. Hitting his trying to hit like a Brock Lesnar net breaker, all kinds of stuff. But Bobby Lashley was not having any of it. And yeah, basically it's that kind of stuff. You had obviously Bobby Lashley goes to the back of the ring after Theory, and Theory was hit a dropkick 2 when he's back in the ring. Cool stuff there. We had a flatliner. We had multiple punches from the fans chanting for Bobby Lashley. No surprise there. But yeah, I mean, he had a nice little Theory lean to a powerbomb. That's really cool. Try to go for his finisher. But the finish basically is like Bobby Lashley charging, Theory jumping over him, and you got Lashley when he went shoulder first into the ring post. You got Theory charged at Lashley. Lashley was caught him and applied the hurt lock submission. Theory taps very quickly. Very dominant victory by Bobby Lashley. Still your United States champion, and yeah, perfect decision. Very good. Theory is going to be interesting now that Vince is gone. Because now it's like he was his baby boy. I don't want to say that, but his child. It's like it's the reason he probably pushed this heavily, because Vince was in charge. But I'm interested to see what he do now, because obviously now he's lost this match. I'm not quite sure what he did. Obviously, he possibly would have cashed in later on. I'm not going to talk about that now, but yeah, it didn't go well for him. Let's just say it's not a spoiler. It's a couple of days. You've watched it enough. Yeah, it didn't go well for him. But I think Bobby Lashley is US champion is a great decision. I like the idea that basically they're going to push that as the big title, and other people, and that would be the thing. And I think Bobby Lashley, per example, because if you beat And the way they put him as dominant works. It works. Because that means Bobby Lashley, his whole reason we got over in the first place, because of his dominant performances as in her business. So why not just capitalise on that? You know, it doesn't need to be this kind of... He just has to be a no-nonsense badass that can beat the crap out of you and just dominate matches. Work for Brock, why not work for Bobby? Finally do it. So, obviously next Monday night, we've got Bobby Lashley versus Tommaso Ciampa that I actually might go and check out. First time in a very long time, I actually might go and check out a Raw. Actually go and check anything for WWE, but actually going on their YouTube channel. It's so rare. First time in a very long time, I've actually physically gone to search WWE on YouTube and trying to find clips of the show. That tells you something that I'm excited. I mean, I'm actually intrigued more now because Triple H is, in charge than anything else. So, yeah, I don't know what to say about it. I mean, that's going to be a good match. So, I don't know what more to say. It should be interesting. So, I'm interested to see what they do to the US title. But let's go to the next match. Obviously, this match is not a title match. It is a tag team match with the Mysterios facing two members of the Judgment Day in Damian Priest and the new leader of Judgment Day in Finn Balor. And yeah, interesting. Let's talk about this match. It's an interesting one. But let's talk about it. Let's go. So let's talk about the match between the Mysterios and Judgment Day. Yes, this obviously, for the story I've heard for this one was that the Judgment Day was trying to recruit Dominic Mysterio to join their ranks. That normally would be a story actually I would like because I like that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's a simple one because obviously the group's kind of gone off the rails ever since they decided to do the whole thing with Edge not being kicked out and Finn Balor, and it's just now it's like, okay, so what is this group? It's kind of become meaningless, not pointless, but feels a bit like it's a group that is just there for Edge to return, and then Edge is going to kill it, and then everyone then blip notes in his career, and then he can move on to being the Edge that we know and love. Yeah, so but the match itself was really good. Obviously, Mysterios started off really quick after the gate. Really cool stuff there. We had a really cool thing with Ray hitting like it was the one of the moonsaults on the outside onto a chair that's on the outside. It was really cool. You know that thing that seems to be slight, basketball slide outside the ring. He did that earlier as well. That was really cool. We had that. We had a lot of stuff with Dominic Mysterio grabbing Finn Balor's leg, and then Ray joining Balor onto the top rope, and we hit like a very nice Hurricanrana from Ray for a 2. That's really cool. We hit a double 619, but then Ripley got involved, and then Ripley tripped up the Mysterios and slammed Dominic onto the apron. Obviously, just shows how amazing Ripley is. Then obviously we got what was it? Priest hitting the sound was it South of Heaven? Really strange. Really weird thing. And then obviously slams onto Ray. And then obviously he gets the chair. So it looks like they're going to go. Because obviously now in tag team there's no disqualification. I think that's what they said. There's no disqualification. I do not know. But yes, and obviously, but again, this match is not defined what's in the match. It's what happens just kind of before the end. The finish basically is going to define what people remember about this match. But basically it's going to be a situation of like, lights went out. They had the very, as you expect, surprise, it's Edge. Comes out with the pyro, the kind of the Brood-esque entrance, coming down with a new haircut. I can relate to that. A new haircut, and obviously with sunglasses coming down to the ring, and this distraction. Priest goes after him. Edge kicks him in the face, then comes in, hits a spear on Balor, and then a spear on Priest, and then Edge sends Balor into the ropes, and then you hit a double 619 by Dominic and Ray. Ray goes to the top, hits a splash, and 1, 2, 3, and they get the win. And so, as no surprise, obviously Edge is back. And obviously we had a malfunction in the junction, obviously on Raw, with a situation of him accidentally hitting Dominic Mysterio with a spear. But so we know where this is going. This is probably going to set up the next pay-per-view. Was it Clash of the Castle? I don't know. The UK one that's in Wales. Stu don't like that name. But yes, obviously that sets up where it's a 6-man tag between these teams. And I like it. I mean, it's the only logical thing you can really do. Obviously, Mysterio's good. Dominic, it wouldn't surprise me if we have a situation where this that spear thing sets up that Dominic's he's gonna finally betray them and turn heel and join the group. That I actually like. because Dominic has got to that point now when he needs a change, or it's not going to end well for him. His character's he's good in the ring, but it's not bland. But like most things, you get to a point where he's got to branch off from his father. So hopefully that happen. I see them though tag teaming up, and obviously with the thing with the spear, and then it wouldn't surprise me at the next pay-per-view that he betrays them, joins the Judgment Day, and keeps his feud alive or something like that, or continues it until. Yeah, I think this is going to be like a couple of months, like a month feud, to maybe make it extend it, because obviously you can't just let Edge come back and he just win. And also they've lost here, so that means they need to get the win back, and that'd be a good way to get the win back. So I like that. So that'd be cool. I love it. It's nothing really crazy about the match. It's more about it's just to set up Edge's return, and it works because Edge is back. He's got the Brood. He's got his music back. The Edge we know and love is back. I wish that we had a bit more time with the heel persona, because I was intrigued to see where it went. But yeah, they chose to do what they did, and yeah, so cool, I guess. So yeah, I'll find out where that goes. It's going to end probably eventually destroying the group. That's what he said in the promo on Raw. So it's fine. It's fine. So cool stuff there. And yeah, no more say this match. All I say it was really fun. It wasn't like the storyline driven heavy, but it's nice. It's nice. So interesting stuff there. And yeah, let's talk about like kind of a match that I didn't have a lot of high expectations for, but as always with Pat McAfee matches, it kind of seems to be a thing. It surprised me a little bit. So yeah, let's talk about Happy Corbin versus Pat McAfee match, because I've got a little bit to say about it. It's an it's going to be interesting to talk about. So let's talk about it. Let's go there. So yes, the next match we're going to talk about is the match between Pat McAfee and Happy Corbin. That's kind of like the thing they've been pushing it to be a situation of two former college roommates during their time at the Inapplicate Colts to now being friends to better enemies. Usual stuff. I didn't actually know this, but I think that's really cool that they've used that in the storyline to justify its existence. So yeah, cool stuff here. Obviously, it's just a lot of situation of Happy Corbin basically being a total dick. Pretty much how it works for him. And yeah, I mean, he had some cool stuff where I think it was on the SmackDown going to the show, where he's like he's a member of the crowd, and he's basically just talking over the promo. And I just love the way they react. They just feel so. You can see that Vince wasn't in the ear with this one, because it's like situations like Michael's trying to talk, and you got Happy Corbin, Pat McAfee kind of like can't shut this guy up, like, but it just felt like it was just so. You just know it's different. It's way different than what Vince would have put up in the show. But yeah, so obviously we had that. So kind of that was the match, set up the match really. So, but the good thing the funny thing is we start off where we had, because obviously I actually do like Pat McAfee's music. It's really catchy. It's really good. But yes, obviously the bit that they always know WWE music, they always have like a catchy hum, like something like that. They always hum, like Nakamura has it. Sami Zayn used to have it. So the music has something that you can hum to, so the crowd can get into it. So that's how they get into the music. It's crude, but it works. Because in wrestling, you just want something to hum. You can shout, you can cheer, so it works. I like it. But yes, obviously we had a bit of choir coming out singing "Bum Ass Corbin," and I just loved the reaction of Happy Corbin saying, "How did he get this? Why is he doing this?" It's just this kind of stuff that I like. I think it's funny. But yes, obviously Pat McAfee comes out wearing nothing more than just blank, it's just it's not like a proper wrestling gear, but it's just, I think he's wearing the stripes of his old team, I think. So yeah, so it starts off pretty cool stuff there. Yes, obviously we had some stuff. Pat McAfee coming in and hit a super kick and start the match, and we had obviously him jumping off the roof. That seems to be his thing. Like what he can do a moonsault backflip off the top rope, or he does like really cool Hurricanrana. Happy Corbin in control. Obviously later on he hit a deep 6 slam for the 2 count. Then obviously you got Corbin sliding out the ring, and Pat McAfee kicked him to the floor, and then jumped over the top rope to a crossbody that looked really cool as well. Because obviously Pat McAfee, his thing about like the celebrity things that they want to show how good they are, so they have to do like spectacular moonsaults. Logan Paul basically just showed that that's what they want to do. You never get a wrestler coming in doing technical wrestling. A celebrity or someone new to it, just like what they want to do, the flashy stuff. That it makes sense. That's how wrestling is in a way, but it's a thing. But like you have here, obviously done that. Then you obviously done last year. Corbin hit a hip toss on sending Pat McAfee into the comments table. While Cole was encouraging Pat. I love the way there's no bias here. And I love that. Like, so yeah, just come on, Pat. I hate this guy. Like, that's what the old commentary team used to have, and that's what I used to love. That's why Ashdera commentary teams are the best, because they felt like actual people and not just sounding boards. So, but that's maybe my opinion. But yes, obviously done that, and obviously you got was in broke, and obviously was it encouraging him, but was it Corbin broke the referee's count and then put on a headset shouting at his parent, shouting at his parents that how are you gonna stop him, like really insultful stuff that's really horrible. Then he obviously went to Corbin went to the top, which was rare for him, and then Pat McAfee does jumps onto the top rope, just about, he was a bit slip, and then hits a nice superplex on the top. Then obviously we had a Pat goes to top on the outside. Knee lost it, he lost his balance, hit the Swanton dive, Swanton bamboozle, whatever they called it. Matt Cole called it something weird, and even Corey Graves was like, wait, what are you calling it? It's really weird. But yes, obviously had that standing, but they're kind of, the match ends with obviously good with Pat keeping his balance there, but then we obviously got Corbin went for the end of days. Pat avoided it, then Pat punched Corbin, and then we had a bump into the ref, Charlie Robson, and then Pat punts as a response to what happened on SmackDown prior. He kicked him in the bollocks. So he is down. So payback from last week. And then Pat jumps off the middle rope with his own version of the Panorama Sunrise. Sunrise, obviously, a move that is made famous and known by Adam Cole, baby. So that's cool. He just about hit it because it was a bit clunky because he didn't it's not as clear as Adam Cole. But hits it for a nice 10-minute match. 1, 2, 3. Pat McAfee gets a win, and I like it. It's fun. Nothing offensive. It was fun, enjoyable. 10 minutes for a match like this, no harm, no foul. Again, the timing for the show is very good. I like it. And yeah, Pat McAfee looks good. Corbin is like similar to other The Miz. You put him against someone, he can always make them look good. And yeah, Pat McAfee looks good. So I'm intrigued to see who he faces next, because obviously he's been now Theory, obviously Adam Cole and all that in NXT when that was a thing. Or the version that we all love, not maybe the 2.0. But yes, that kind of stuff. So I'm intrigued to see what happens next. So hopefully, fingers crossed. That'd be interesting to see. But yeah, nothing really crazy here. But it's just one of those, it's kind of a celebrity because Pat is like a commentary member. So, but I'm intrigued to see what match he has next. And Happy Corbin is Happy Corbin. Let's be honest. Let's just say it. It's just Happy Corbin. So that's cool. So I don't know what to say about this really. But yeah, good match. Good, solid match. Worthy of being on a pay-per-view. I don't want to say it's fun. Let's move on. To talk about title matches. We're going to go on probably the third title match of the night. We're going to talk about the WWE Undisputed Tag Team Championship match with the Usos defending their titles yet again against the Street Profits. And if it's anything like their match with Money in the Bank, we're in for a treat. So let's go and talk about it. Yes, let's talk about the Usos and the Street Profits in the second match, obviously for the Unified Tag Team Championships. And yeah, I mean, it's this weird one because obviously the match was by far probably the best match of Money in the Bank. It was one of the best matches. Not surprised, Usos are amazing. The Street Profits are amazing. Put them together, you're probably going to get something really, really cool. So yeah, so you're expecting high hopes here, but the funny thing about this match is it didn't live up to the hype, and I think it's because of the length. That other match was around about a couple of minutes more. I was talking about the length of the matches being good. This was still good, but it just felt they were treading new ground. And obviously the situation of the Street Profits kind of getting close again. I think the near fall it did at Money in the Bank was better, but that's just my opinion. But yeah, I mean, but still has a good moment. Chelsea, obviously, you had Jeshu. Basically, you had laying down the law early. You got, Jeff? Oh, I keep forgetting. Probably because you could forget, because he didn't really do anything that really justified him being in the match. Jeff Jarrett was a special guest referee. I just totally forgot about that. They did that thing where they put special guest referees for no reason other than just they needed a big name, and it didn't justify his existence. But yeah, I mean, early on I give him that. He's sitting there trying to have a beat down by Bob teams. First it was Usos, then it was and he's laying down the law, sitting there saying, yeah, I'm the ref, I'm in charge here. I like that stuff, but except for that, it wasn't. You would wouldn't have known he was in the match. It kind of like makes you think, what did he actually contribute to? Except for maybe a clean finish, maybe. I don't know. But obviously after this, a lot of stuff was the Usos in control. Then obviously the match started to speed up as it did last time. Obviously slow start, big up, but I think it was a bit more quicker this time. We had a bit where Jay went back to top, and then was it send both Usos outside the ring, and then Dawson tagged him and done a running somersault over the top rope for both Usos. It was really cool. I can't remember, did Dawson go top? I don't think he does. I think he does. I always think of Ford as the one that go the high flyer. But obviously we had a bit with nearly like cool stuff as well. With also hitting a double super kick on Dawson. Jimmy was a little illegal man. He went to top and hit a Uso splash for a 2. Very good there. Then obviously we had Uso went for the top and hit the double Uso splash. Looks like that was going to be the end of the match. But Ford just was out of breakout for a 2 count. But yeah, it's pretty much the craziness. The match kind of ended. This is how it kind of ended. We had Ford tossing Jimmy outside the ring. Then you got Jay sending Ford into the apron, and then went for a super kick. Dawson moved and catch Jarrett onto the court. So he tried to go with a super kick, and then Jarrett caught his foot to stop him, like saying, "Nah, you're not doing any of that." Then obviously Dawson with a spine buster on Jay. Then Ford tagged in for Ford to goes to the top with a frog splash. Very good spot, frog splash as always, for a near 2. But didn't cover right away because he was doing he done the Van Damme thing where he done it, but he's holding his ribs, that I do love. That shows that that's why it's 5-star, because he puts a little bit more oomph onto it when all we needed it. So that makes sense. So that little hesitation was enough to cost him the pinfall. So another so close moment for Ford to win the tag titles. But then obviously Ford is yelling at Jeff Jarrett saying the count. It wasn't his fault. But I like the way that even like shows Ford's getting really frustrated now, even arguing the ref, that he can't put the Usos away. Then obviously the match ends with Dawson got a tag in. Usos were on the floor. But then when Ford tried to do a dive, Usos gave Ford a double super kick on the through the second rope. Then obviously Usos tossed Ford over the barricade, and Usos went and hit a double super kick on Dawson on the floor. Back in the ring, they bring him in the ring. They hit another double super kick on Dawson. Hits a 1D on Dawson. 1, 2, 3, and Stu, your undisputed tag team champions, the Usos. It's a right call, I guess, but I don't know. I think maybe it might have been the right time for Stu Pops to win the title, but from what I've seen, from what they're doing with Ford challenging Seth, that it looks like they might be doing more of a Ford going on a singles run. Again, I'm not against, because he's done all he can with the Street Profits, really, and I think Ford is, no offense to Dawson, but Ford's like the standout. Like, he's got the charisma, he's got the Rock charisma, and he's very good in the ring. So it'll be interesting to see if they put him against people like Seth or KO or something like that. I think he'll succeed, so I'm actually not against this, but I don't want to be a heel turn. I just want it to be more of he needs to prove himself. That's a bit more like a normal person would do. Like, they have disappointment in the tag division, so maybe I need to go on my own to get success. And instead of being like he turns on his partner, why not have a situation where I need to do things on my own for a while and let him do his thing that I like more, because then they can go back to the tag team thing later on, and it's not a situation of, the Usos got to split up and have a tag team, because they can't afford to do it. So, but I like it. The Usos, I don't know who's taking those tag titles off them. I really don't. I mean, Mysterios maybe. You also got Judgment Day maybe. I don't know who's taking. Maybe the Viking Raiders, because they're looking good, batting strong on SmackDown. I don't know who's taking those titles, but I wouldn't surprise it when it gets to a point when Reigns lose that titles. That's when I think the Usos will start. Probably like a month before, to start the trend of the Bloodline finally losing their power. Because that's normally how you do it. It starts with that. So I'm intrigued to see where that goes. But yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting though. But I feel a Money in the Bank match was, I think, better. I think they were training a bit too much ground in this match that they already covered in Money in the Bank. So yeah, I'm glad it's kind of feuded over in a way, so we can move on. But I'm intrigued to see what the Usos do. But yeah, Usos are still your tag team champions. So yeah, so obviously next we're not going to talk about a match. We're going to talk about a little segment, because normally I would maybe brush this over, but this is kind of big because this was supposed to be on the show. Obviously, we're going to talk about, briefly, we're going to talk about Riddle and the Seth Rollins confrontation in the ring, with Riddle supposed to be injured, but he made a beeline to the ring, demanding that he wants to see He wants to fight Seth freaking Rollins. So yeah, let's quickly just talk about that. So yes, obviously the thing we'll just quickly talk about is the kind of in-ring promo by Riddle. Obviously, basically we're supposed to have Riddle versus Seth Rollins, but obviously Riddle, I don't know if it's a injury or kayfabe injury, but yes, so his injury because obviously they put it in kayfabe that he obviously hit a stomp he got stomped by Seth Rollins that done his back in or his spinal bit, yeah. So obviously he shouldn't be out there, and he comes out kind of demanding that he wants to fight. He's not medically cleared to be out there, but he wants to fight Seth. He wants to take out Seth freaking Rollins. I like the idea that basically said with Randy, teach me a little bit to not take no crap from anyone, and I like that. I like that kind of stuff. For my thing, I've done a little bit differently, but so he comes to the ring. Obviously, Seth, the doctor's coming out, like people saying that you got Seth freaking Rollins coming out. Seth with his, as always, attire, always I would say on point or colourful would be the word for it. But he comes out. Obviously, Fish was trying to break up, don't know, and there's a fight between them. This manifests itself into the ring. Then obviously Seth Rollins had to get out of hand, hits the stopping Riddle, and you got Cole screaming about how he could have Riddle's neck, and just injury. The crowd was humming Seth Rollins' music and left the ring. And I like the idea. Before it went down to the ring, we were ripping on him being stupid, basically ripping on him being stupid. And I like this in a way. It's simple. It feels like old school wrestling where it's like segments happen during the night. But I like this. It shows a bit of intensity from Riddle, so that's cool. So I don't know if I think it's kayfabe because I want to put in a situation of if it wasn't that. So it's cool stuff there. It means we're going to have a Riddle Seth Rollins match at some point, and I cannot wait for it because Riddle's awesome, Seth Rollins awesome. So we're in for a treat with that one. So I'm intrigued to see where that goes. But so obviously just want to quickly talk about it just because it's a big... Normally it'd just be like one of those things, but it's because in ring, need to quickly talk about it. But obviously next we're going to talk about the WWE Smackdown Women's Championship match between the newly crowned champion, Liv Morgan, going against Ronda Rousey. So let's talk about this one because this was interesting, very interesting. So let's talk about it. So obviously next we'll talk about the WWE Smackdown Women's Championship match between Liv Morgan and Ronda Rousey. My bad, double R's really messed up my head. So obviously this is a kind of response to obviously Liv Morgan cashing in on Ronda Rousey on Money in the Bank after winning it. As always, the women can't seem to have a miss Money in the Bank. I get it, would be nice to see it, but it's fine because Liv Morgan is champion. I'm intrigued by it because obviously they've built up quite well. And now she's champion. Let's hope that they don't do the curse of they can't book champions. I hope not. But I kind of like where they're going here. But so this kind of match was basically, it was very short. I think I put it as 10 minutes? I think it was less than that. I think they really were trying to cut a lot of them time out. Wow, it's even shorter than that. It's not even less than 5 minutes. But I think that makes sense because obviously Liv Morgan's still a bit finding her feet. Ronda Rousey's not exactly a person that does long matches very well. I haven't seen a good, she's pretty good at certain matches, but it makes sense. Obviously, it didn't need to be longer than it did because the whole point was it was a certain point to this match. But obviously, a lot of stuff. Obviously, Rhea Ripley. Why do I keep thinking Rhea Ripley? Ronda Rousey working on Liv Morgan's arm. A lot of that stuff obviously makes sense because her armbar is the finisher, so it makes sense you're working on that. Very technical, gifted. I like the Rhea Ripley's kind of aggression early. Was it with her knees right into it, followed by a slam? That knee, she was one of the best knees. In the face, looked very good. And obviously then we got a situation of, was it going for the slam off the elbow, and then Liv Morgan elbowed out of it, and there was hit a cold breaker. You got Ronda Rousey, blocking it and hitting her on an Oblivion attempt, but leads to Ronda getting a takedown and the armbar. But Liv Morgan was able to get hands on, and basically we have to try and go for it. She went for a crucifix pin that I always love for a near full. Kind of the cool stuff. You had stuff in the apron. You had a lot of takedowns. You had a lot of Liv Morgan's arm. She really was screaming. There was a moment when she was checked by a doctor saying she would stop the match. It didn't happen. But let's talk about the finish. That's really what the match is about. You had obviously said the kind of thing with trainers checking on Liv Morgan, who said she was okay, but can you send on the injured arm? Then obviously Ronda applied the armbar on the left arm again when Ronda's shoulders were down. So the ref counted for the 3. And yes, and obviously an announcer said that Liv Morgan said that he tapped out at the same time. Ronda was arguing with the ref. And yes, they did a dusty finish. So basically, she got the pin while she tapped out. And it showed that she did tap out before the 3 count. So technically, Ronda Rousey should be your new SmackDown Women's Champion. But the ref wouldn't see it. And we all know rules. The referee's decision is final until it isn't. Because, in wrestling, nothing's finalised and nothing's exact. But, so the interesting is obviously Liv Morgan, yet again, survived Ronda Rousey and is still your SmackDown Women's Champion. But again, the match was served its point, but it's not what I was going to remember it for. It's going to be remembered for a Ronda Rousey heel turn. We're finally getting it. Obviously, I don't know if this is the clear one, because obviously sometimes you can sit there and the way they pushed it is more frustration. But it'd be interesting to see on SmackDown on Friday if it's like she solidifies that she's a heel now. But yeah, so basically in the match, obviously she argued with the ref after the loss. She attacked Liv Morgan from behind and then hit the armbar again. And then obviously Ronda took down the ref and hit hardbar him as well. Then the official showed up and tried to break up, but then win the left ringside while was selling the injured arm. Grabs her title while smiling at the ringside, knowing that she survived Ronda Rousey. And yeah, I think it's like I don't mind the idea that she's a champion way out of her depth, and she's basically she's getting lucky. But normally would be a bad thing, but it means that like at first off she's keeping her title by luck, but eventually she'll grow into the role and she'll start winning matches well. So I like the idea of that. If they turn it into a good storyline, I'm not against it. So Ronda Rousey's heel, like I think some put that's very true. Ronda Rousey's heel makes sense. Becky Lynch face makes sense. So does that mean at some point we're going to get Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey too? At some point, because a face heel divide, what it should be anyway. Oh, that could be interesting, couldn't it? It depends when Becky comes back from injured arm. So maybe, but like I'm intrigued to see where they go with this, because obviously I hope it's not. I hope that there actually is a heel turn in Ronda Rousey's heel, because I think that's better for her. And Liv Morgan as the kind of like surviving by skin of her teeth champion, I'm for. If they just book her well, I'm not against it. So yeah, cool stuff there. So yeah, we had that short match, but it's leading to what. Oh my God! Normally I'll be against the match like this, but my God, this match was unbelievable. I mean, we're obviously talking about the main event, the last man standing match for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. We've got another match between Brock Lesnar going against Roman Reigns, but for some reason this match actually was really fun, and I can't wait to talk about it. So let's talk about the main event. Let's go. Yeah, so here we are, the main event, the WWE Universal Championship match between the last man standing between Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. Again, I said, this is probably like the thing from Back to the Future back in it, like the thing. Jaws 500, and this feels like with this, like this match has been going on for basically the only match they go for. Seems to be the only match that Roman Reigns ever has as a feud that means anything that I like. But again, I wish they had more meaningful feuds like the one KO we had way back with the Universal Championship. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff in this match. So much. It's the longest one on the card's 20 odd minutes. This is where they chopped off most of the time to put on this match, and you can totally see why. But yeah, I mean, obviously let's go into it. Obviously, basically the big thing about is Brock is a farmer, shocker to everyone, and he likes tractors. So what did he do? He bring a big ass tractor to the arena and drove it down to the ring. And I love the reaction of Paul Heyman when he's like, "Oh God, oh God!" He's like, he turned away like, "Oh God, what's going on?" Roman's confused, like, "What the hell?" Then obviously start the match. Obviously we had a bit of an announcement, and he got Brock standing on the tractor. But then obviously start the match, he jumps from it, and then basically yeah, that's how the match starts. Lesnar in control. Early on, obviously comes cool stuff. We had obviously Paul Heyman kind of like when we had a lot of table spots. I think Brock put him for a table, Roman Reigns for a table. Early on, we had obviously Paul Heyman kind of begging. That's the best beggar in the business. He's begging, saying, "Oh, don't hurt me," but it's all a ploy to help Roman Reigns get in control. And yeah, now I remember. Yes, obviously it was more of obviously Roman hit Brock Lesnar with a Samoan drop onto the table. Obviously, then Brock got out of it. There was another halfway through a broken table, and he was able to like spine buster him onto it. Very cool stuff there. Paul Heyman being the best, but again, Roman Reigns to get control. Then obviously, we had it. Obviously, Brock got back in control, and then obviously dumped. We had a bit later on where he dumped Roman Reigns onto the front loader of the tractor, and then kind of dumped him back in the ring. Then came in, hit an F5. Reigns was able to land on his feet, and then we got later on. We got grabbed like the choke. Lesnar was out. But, he tried to go for that guillotine choke, but then Lesnar reversed, and hit a guillotine choke of his own. We had some cool stuff there. We had a lot of stuff for the tractor, but let's be honest, that's not really around the bush. We all know what we want to talk about. Had moments back and forth, but let's be honest, the whole thing about this match is going to be remembered is what I've never seen this in a wrestling match before. It used to be, Brock has a thing about either breaking rings, obviously the famous Big Show Brock Lesnar superplex that destroyed the ring all those years ago. So it wouldn't surprise me to have done a match where Brock destroys another ring. But I've never seen this before where, a situation where he goes and takes the tractor, but he puts the forklift, the full loader down, and he just goes after the ring. He goes underneath the ring, tries to grab it, and he tries to lift. Like Roman's out, because we can see a couple of suplexes on the F5. He's standing there, and it's like basically goes underneath the ring and lifts it up. And I've just like, the crowd's like, oh my God. And I'm like, what am I watching here? Like, I've never seen that. I've watched wrestling for many, many years, but that's new. That is new. And that's really hard to do in wrestling. Do something that's new. And this was new. And the crowd were like, oh my God. Literally destroyed. The ring is like on its side like that. Like literally like, yeah, like that. It's ridiculous. But then obviously after that, the Usos showed up to attack Brock. But Brock took care of them, was suplexed onto the floor. Then obviously he went up to Roman on the floor. Then Evan told him that he's had enough. He shouldn't attack him. Another more Paul Heyman doing his job. But the big thing for Lesnar, finally probably done what he wanted to do many, many years, is he picks up Paul Heyman and he F5s him through the announce table. He's out for the match. Then obviously it's really weird because basically because half of the ring's up, they basically had this little corner window outside that the only thing they can do now, because basically they've destroyed the one. They couldn't do anything else to win, because obviously half it's on this half like that. So then obviously hit 5. Then obviously Theory hits music hit. Obviously he's going to cash in. Theory won down for the ring, just about to cash in. But then obviously forgot Brock was there. It obviously hits Roman Reigns with the briefcase. Then he gives the ref the briefcase. But just before the ref can announce the match, Lesnar comes in, holds him F5. But, and then use the briefcase on Roman later on. But yeah, so basically Paul Heyman, Brock Lesnar's like, no, you're not cashing in. So it'd be interesting to see what they do now Vince is gone, because obviously, what's their plans for Theory? I'm intrigued. But yes, obviously a Uso hit Lesnar with a double super kick. They went back to the top. Lesnar was able to get back up for a 10 count. Ryan gives him a spear. And then put him with both championships on the ground. But Lesnar was able to get up. Then before the 10 count, then obviously Reigns hit him, using Austin for his briefcase, hit him again. Stu can't go down. Then he hits Lesnar. Then he hits Lesnar with the briefcase to the body again. The ref counts down, but Lesnar gets up again. Then he hits him with the WWE Championship. He gets up again. And I like the idea that Cole's like, just leave it, stay down, like, proper like concern, like, let's end it. It's too much, all these headshots and all this body. I love the way, shouting at the refs, like, faster count, just end it now, because he had so much punishment. But Brock gets up, Roman's shocked, like, what have I got to do to beat this guy? But then obviously he gets the Universal Championship, hits him with it, and then basically Reigns buries him with all the parts of the table and the steel steps, all that kind of stuff. The ref, to take him out, he can't get out of the rubble. 1, 2, 3, and we still your undisputed WWE Universal Champion in Roman Reigns in an outstanding match. What a way to finish! I mean, all I'm saying, I hope this is the end. It's just like the last match they've ever done. I'm happy with that. It's amazing. I love it. But yeah, it's so good. It's so good. It's exact. If you're going to do the last man standing match, it's supposed to be carnage and chaos, and it exactly had that. But obviously, that thing with the tractor and the rings, like, takes it to another level. It's so good. I love it. All I say to that is, but can this be the end of the feud now? Like, this feels like a feud ender. Let it die. Just let it end. We need it to end so Roman can obviously, forgot to talk about earlier, obviously, Drew McIntyre was talking about facing Roman at, was it Clash of the Castle? I think it is. Might be wrong. You would have thought it was a pay-per-view in my own country. In my own country. You would think I know, but yes, obviously, so good job here. Obviously, it depends if they wanted to go for Drew to win it. They've got a good opportunity there, because if you can say Roman's been through hell to keep his title, so he might not be 100%. I don't know where they're going to go for it, but I like it. But yeah, I don't know what to say about this match. It's really good. Check it out. If not, check it out. Just check out the bit where basically Brock Lesnar lifts up the entire ring. Because why not? It's Brock Lesnar. I don't know. It's so weird. But yeah, so we're interested to see what they decide to do at that the UK pay-per-view. Are they going to keep it on Reigns and keep it for another couple of months into WrestleMania so he may lose it? Or do they go for Drew to have that pop that he gets basically back in the UK? I hope so. They could. If they did it, I don't think anyone's going to disagree with it. Or at least lose one of the titles anyway. So, we're intrigued to see. But, yes, that's the end of the SummerSlam. I cannot wait to talk about what I think of the whole show in general. But, yeah, what a show. But, yeah, let's go and put my final thoughts on it. And that's wrap up this review. Let's go. So this is my review of SummerSlam. So obviously going in before Vince was there, I had no expectation for it, but ever since Vince got basically retired and basically Triple H coming in, excitement levels went from being meh to, oh my god, this is going to be fun. And my god, there are little changes that worked. This is really a really fun pay-per-view. Really good. I mean, I'm downplaying it. It's probably one of the best they've done this year. I think it's up there, or probably one of the WrestleManias they did. But so it actually felt like the SummerSlam that moments happened, big things happened, big returns. What I like about this pay-per-view is the matches that were going to deliver did deliver. But I like the idea that basically the matches that were good were elevated by a return that makes it memorable. So everything pretty much in the pay-per-view was memorable. Either a heel turn, a heel turn, a return, or something that just elevated. It felt like old school wrestling WWE, and it just felt good. I know they've booked this beforehand, but there were simple things that you can see Triple H's fingers all over it. Probably the commentary was very different. The kind of obviously the thing with Bailey, Dakota Kai, and Io Shirai seems like a Triple H idea. You couldn't see Vince coming up with that, so that seems like more his thing. But yeah, I really enjoyed this pay-per-view. If this is what the kind of quality we're going to get, I cannot wait to see what Triple H's first pay-per-view, without Vince influences, would be. So it's the first time Valentine. I'm actually really excited for WWE to see where it goes. If we get anything as half of anything that he did at NXT, the black and gold, then we were finally some change that means we're going to get some just enjoyable wrestling. I mean, I did enjoy the pay-per-views because they were good enough, because you just like match quality normally, but if we could just imagine if you get the stories building up being great, just going to elevate everything. So I cannot wait to see it. So yeah, I mean, if I was going to give this grade, I'd probably give it, tempted to say 9 out of 10, but I'm going to get, just because, but yeah, I mean, screw it, yeah, I'm going to say 9 out of 10, it's just so good. I mean, I know I probably put it a bit less than, obviously, I would probably say my favourite pay-per-view so far is probably, I'm going to say Forbidden Door, just because of all the matches were amazing. So I'm going to put it up there. I'm not good with scoring systems. It's more opinion, so I don't know if that's really a fair reflection of what I do, but it's one of those things. But great pay-per-view. Finally got around to reviewing it, so it's been a bit late because it's been a busy couple of days. So it's finding time, new job, and also finding time to review is becoming a little tougher than it used to be. So, but yeah, we got this done. So yeah, obviously when it comes to pay-per-views, I will be back. I'm assuming we'll be back for next pay-per-view. This one probably be the one in UK was the next one for that. I think that's in September, I think. But I think next pay-per-view I'll probably do is probably All Out, because I think that's in early September. So I can't think of another pay-per-view that's coming out. But whatever that pay-per-view is, in AEW, WWE, I'll be back to review it. So hopefully you've enjoyed. If you want to know more, you can go on our Twitter at Josh and Stu Pod. You can go on our Instagram at the Josh and Stu Wrestling Podcast. So we still use Twitter a bit, obviously, because that might just me at the moment. So, and I'm not really a big talking on social media guy. But if you want to leave us a message, definitely I'll try and get back to you. All that kind of stuff. So yeah, hope you enjoyed my solo review of SummerSlam. I'll be back. Obviously, again, with Josh's situation, it will just happen. One day you'll just have a video and Josh is back. It's the way it's going to be when it does. And I keep saying when it is, it's going to be amazing. So to them, I've been Stuart Irvine. And yeah, hope you enjoy my review. And please like and subscribe. That would be really helpful as well. And yeah, and I'll be back next time. Enjoy the rest of your week, everyone. See everyone. Right. Bye.